Most people think chess grandmasters are geniuses, born with photographic memory. Superhuman IQ, brains wired differently. Wrong. Most grandmasters started as completely average kids. Same brain, same memory, same attention span. The difference? They train their brain using a system that makes learning brutally efficient. A system that turns chaos into patterns. And once you understand how it works, you can apply it to anything. Studying, coding, business, languages. I'm about to show you the 3 learning advantages grandmasters use to improve faster than everyone else. And once you see it, you'll realize most people are learning completely wrong. Chapter 1. Pattern compression. Your brain is terrible at storing random information. Try memorizing a chessboard with 32 random pieces scattered everywhere. Impossible. But show that same board to a grandmaster for 5 seconds. They can reconstruct the entire position perfectly. Researchers at Carnegie Mellon tested this in the 1970s. Grandmasters recalled real chess positions almost flawlessly. But when the pieces were random, their memory collapsed, same as beginners, which proves something important. Grandmasters don't have better memory. They have better patterns. Instead of seeing 32 separate pieces, they see structures. Pawn chains, king safety, weak squares, attack formations, thousands of positions compressed into a few mental templates. Psychologists call this chunking. Your brain can hold about 7 items in working memory. George Miller discovered this in 1956. The magical number 7. Try storing more and your brain crashes. But chunk information together? 7 chunks can represent hundreds of details. Imagine carrying groceries. Most people grab items individually. Apples, milk, bread, eggs. Everything falls. Experts use bags. Same groceries, less effort. Grandmasters bag information. Instead of memorizing moves, they memorize patterns. Which means when they study a new game, they're not learning from scratch. They're matching patterns they've already seen thousands of times. Your brain works the same way. Programmers recognize code structures. Doctors recognize illness scripts. Investors recognize market patterns. But here's the problem. Most people never build these patterns. They memorize isolated facts instead. Facts disappear. Patterns stick. Now you've compressed information. But here's the thing, though. Compression alone doesn't make you fast. Because recognizing patterns requires something else. Exposure. A lot of exposure. Which leads to the second advantage. Chapter 2. Brutal repetition. Most people study something once. Maybe twice, then move on. Grandmasters? They review thousands of games. The same openings, the same tactics. Over and over again. Bobby Fischer studied more than 10,000 historic chess games as a teenager. 10,000. Why? Because every game adds another pattern to the brain. The more patterns you have, the faster recognition becomes. This is called deliberate practice. Psychologist Anders Ericsson studied elite performers for decades. His conclusion? Experts don't practice more. They practice differently. Average players play games. Grandmasters study positions. They isolate weaknesses. Drill specific tactics. Replay famous matches. Over and over. It feels slow. It feels repetitive. But every repetition strengthens the neural pathway. Your brain literally rewires itself. Neuroscientists call this myelination. Every time you repeat a skill correctly, your brain wraps the neural circuit in insulation. Signals travel faster, which means thinking becomes automatic. That's why grandmasters can evaluate positions in seconds. Not because they calculate faster, because they've seen it before, thousands of times. But here's the problem, though. Even repetition isn't enough. Because if you repeat something wrong, you automate mistakes. And most people practice the wrong way, which leads to the final advantage. The one that separates masters from everyone else. Chapter 3. Immediate feedback. Most learners operate in the dark. They read a book, watch a tutorial, take notes, but they never test themselves. Which means they never see their mistakes. Grandmasters can't hide from mistakes. Every move gets punished immediately. Blunder a piece, game over. Which creates constant feedback. Every mistake becomes a lesson. Psychologist Robert Bjork calls this desirable difficulty. Learning feels harder, but retention skyrockets. When your brain struggles to retrieve information, it releases neurochemicals that strengthen memory and coding. This is why active recall works, not rereading, testing. The book Make It Stick explains this perfectly. Students who repeatedly tested themselves remembered 50% more information. 50%. But here's the interesting part. Grandmasters go even further. After each game, they analyze every move. Where did the position change? Where did the mistake happen? What was the correct move? This process is brutal. But it exposes blind spots, which means the next time that pattern appears, they recognize it instantly. It's like installing new software in your brain, one mistake at a time. Now combine everything, pattern compression, brutal repetition, immediate feedback, and suddenly learning accelerates, not a little, exponentially. But here's the problem, though. Even if you understand these methods, most people still learn painfully slow.
Why? Because they're studying the wrong material.
You can practice perfectly, but if you're practicing the wrong things, you're wasting years. That's why I made another video explaining how elite learners identify the crucial 20% that produces 80% of results. Once you understand that system, learning anything becomes almost unfair. Watch that next.